everyone, it's Matt with Treble-Life. I wanted to talk to you today about the 3 types of practice and how I think these modes, these types of practices will help you not only focus, but also help in your performance preparation. The 3 types of practices are personal practice, pre-performance practice, and performance practice. So let's take a look at each one of those. The first is personal practice. I consider it an internal practice where it's you, your guitar, and your music. It's as quiet of a setting as you can make it, and it's about studying the fretboard, it's studying the patterns, and using some good structured characteristics about how to play in personal practice. The first thing we want to do is be in a comfortable chair. We are sitting, and our guitar is elevated, as you can see here. If you're a left-handed player, it'll be on your right leg elevated, and if you're a right-handed player, it'll be on your left leg, as it is with me. The reason we do this is our neck is then at an angle because we want the thumb around the back of the neck. The thumb is around the back of the neck so we can maximize coverage and make it easier for our fretting fingers to play. Now there's some unique characteristics about fretting as well, and we'll talk about that. First, I would like it if you played very slowly. We want to be our own critic, our own happy critic. We don't want to beat ourselves up, but we want to identify any mistakes, and we can eliminate a lot of mistakes playing slowly through the pattern. In this case, my music is the pattern. So as I play slowly through it, I'm leaving my fretting fingers down and close to the fretboard as I can. You notice my first finger stays down as my second and fourth finger play. And the same thing descending. It's also important to note, if you're using patterns, to play descending as well as ascending. We need to know, as lead guitarists, how to start the patterns from most any location on the guitar. Secondarily, I would suggest a timer. And be a little bit stingy with your calendared time. Like for example, I will say, hey Siri, set a timer for 25 minutes.
There's already a 25-minute timer. Replace it?
Sure.
25 minutes, starting now.
I love Siri. So now we have a timed set to work in personal practice and really get to know the fretboard, get to know our music, and we want to stop if I make a mistake. If I make a mistake, I stop and I repeat that. I even identify what I consider weak spots. My little pinky is a bit of a weak spot, so I want to work on that. That's what I do in my personal practice. So again, personal practice is all about you and your guitar, a comfortable sitting, a guitar neck elevated, and making sure that we are playing the notes and even beginning to identify the notes by name. So that's a little bit of a look into personal practice. Let's look at pre-performance practice, because that's also as important. The focus that we have begins to shift a little bit towards performance. In pre-performance practice, I'm still sitting with my guitar, I still have the music in front of me, but now I'm using, in this case, an amp. And not only am I getting to know the music that I want to play in my performance, I'm also getting to know the characteristics of my amp. And there's some really unique things that I think you and I should focus on. Playing with different volumes, playing with and without effects, becoming very comfortable in those settings and playing with a great deal of volume at a time and without volume. The reason being is it's happened to me in my career where I have been asked to turn off distortion and turn up the volume. And if I hadn't practiced that, that would be very, very unsettling. Secondarily, we want to start getting used to playing with good old ear protection. If you're like me, or hopefully you're not like me, where you have a permanent ringing in your ears from playing too much Led Zeppelin and Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple over the many, many years. Pre-performance practice also looks at our footprint. How much space do I need? If someone calls me and wants me to play with them, I want to know that I need a 4x6 space. I need these kind of power requirements. And I even look at the redundancy of the kinds of things I want to bring with me to the performance. So extra strings, extra picks, extra cables, extra batteries. If I have an extra amp, I'll bring an extra amp. So the goal in pre-performance practice is we are still playing our music, but we are now really getting prepared for that performance and getting to know all of our equipment. So that's a look at pre-performance practice. The last one is performance practice. And that's where the shift changes entirely. If you remember, I mentioned that in personal practice, it's an internal focus. It's you and your guitar, and your music. Now in performance practice, the objective is the audience engagement. Now this is a little bit different if you're in an orchestra pit with a music stand. It would not be necessarily about audience engagement, but it's still about delivery of music and the quality that you want to deliver of that music. If you're in a band, the focus shifts now. The goal in performance practice is you essentially announce to your bandmates that, hey, at 7 o'clock on Friday night, we're going to simulate that we are performing. That means if the drummer takes an hour or you take an hour to set up, then you get there at 5:45 and you set up, because at 7 you're going to simulate an announcement of your band to be playing, and then you're going to start performing. You're going to be in your garb, your persona. I like to wear my cowboy hat and a vest, and I call myself a California cowboy rocker, and you're ready to go. And when that person, that simulation of here comes Grandpa Matt and the Misinformed, then you're ready and you start playing and you play your first 3 songs, maybe 5 songs, maybe 7 songs. But the objective of performance practice is everything is set, everything is ready, and you are simulating a performance. And if anything happens in that simulation, you break a string, you keep going. You stop at the end of the amount of songs that you and your bandmates or you have decided on your own, if you're doing performance practice on your own, how many songs you will play before you stop. But the goal of performance practice is an external focus, eyes off your fretboard and in the audience, smiling and happy, dancing if they're dancing, and connecting with the audience and delivering their experience more so than your experience. That's a look at our 3 types of practice: performance practice, pre-performance practice, and personal practice. Please let us know in the comments below how much time you're spending in each one, and if you're spending more time in one over the other. We look forward to those comments, and again, thank you for watching.